YouTube! Hello! It's been a minute, but I have finally read a book. This is Normal People. This is Normal People, and I didn't like it. Spoiler alert, I didn't like it. You may have watched my last video, which was basically me just ranting about how this book doesn't have any punctuation. It does have punctuation, sorry, my bad. It has no speech marks. Speech marks, it has no speech marks. So no quotation marks, so you cannot tell when a new person is speaking, when a new voice is being presented forward, and that just got me off on a bad foot, and then it just turned into this really boring drivel about a love story that basically never happened. It was a poor relationship over a very long time. This conversation we're having right now, this video full of spoilers. Not that anything happened that I could spoil for you, other than very damaged girl. The main character, damaged girl, she is in an abusive household, and yeah, just ends up this really kinky person. It does have an element, it's a weird book. It feels a bit like it's kink shaming, and I didn't like that, but what people do behind closed doors is their business, right? Like, I don't like books about that because that's opening those doors, and I don't know, maybe I'm prudish, I am, but I just felt that it explored sexuality in a way that I was not comfortable with, and maybe I just don't get it, but it just kept doing it all the way through the book, and it didn't feel comfortable. It was a very awkward book for me to read, and I didn't like the male protagonist either. He was awkward and very self-involved. Like, he gets depression and he writes a book, and you'd think that all of that would be relatable for me, but somehow it just didn't quite get there. It didn't quite have the guts that I wanted it to have. It was one big miscommunication over the course of like 7 years or however long this book goes for. It's just, if they would just talk to each other properly, if they would just have a conversation, it would have been a much better book. They would have understood each other, they would have had a much happier life if they'd have just communicated better. And the fact that this doesn't even have quotation marks to show the communication really emphasizes the lack of ability that these characters have to actually talk to each other. Yeah, that's 3 minutes. That's really all I have to say. I didn't enjoy it. It took me forever to read because I couldn't get through it. Ugh, it was so just grueling to read. I was like, fine, I suppose I'll do some reading. When usually I love reading. Even if it's a book I'm not particularly enjoying, usually I'm like, yes, I'll do it. But I just really wanted to get to the end to see if it just, you know, wound up okay, but it just sort of kept going. It was just never ending. It was incessant. It doesn't even have an ending. It has a beginning, but then it's just all middle from there on. Like, there's no overarching storyline, there's no plot twists, there's nothing. The middle just keeps going, and then the book ends, and you're like, but, oh. I haven't been around much because I've started a second channel, another channel, on YouTube here, and it is an ASMR channel. If you don't know what that is, it's autonomous sensory meridian response is what ASMR stands for. But basically, you know, when you're reading a book and you're sitting there and it's really quiet and you're turning the pages and everything starts to feel a little bit nicer and you get really relaxed and calm, and then at some point you get tingles down the back of your neck and you just feel sigh of relief. That response that I get from reading is called ASMR, and you can get it from other videos and such. So I started watching these videos a few years back, and then recently I started actually making the videos, and they're not all about books. I don't think I've even done one about books yet, but it's about different sounds and movements that trigger that relaxing response. So I have started that channel, and you can find it at Spantopia Rose. I will leave a link up here and in the description below. But also, if you have any book recommendations for books that I would like, kind of in the vein of Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, or basically something nice where good things happen and interesting things happen, please recommend them to me, because I'm at a bit of a loss. I'll see you soon. Or not. I'm around, not much, but I will continue to upload when I have things to say about books. Stephanie came to say hi. Here she is. My room's a mess. I will see you in the next video. How do you turn this thing off?